Alrighty, 3:30 Eastern, Trade Ideas Live Q&A. Give everybody a moment, start coming on in, pile in, fire away your questions. Anybody new to this here, we do this as a live open forum Q&A. So come with all the questions. I don't have any pre-done content. Of course, if there is, any downtime, any lull in the questions and interactions, I'll do my best to try to come up with something interesting. Rinos, how are you? And for anybody that's popping in here, we are aware there is a domain server down that's causing login issues for some people. We're not sure if it's geographical, or if it's us, or if it's a server that's beyond our reach. But we are looking into it. It doesn't seem to be affecting everybody. But anybody that's happening to be popping in here for that, we are aware. We're doing well over here. We're doing well over here. Winding down the trading week, kind of on a Wednesday's odd. Markets are closed tomorrow, half day Friday, so I don't really consider that a trading day. We will be here in support till the market closes that day. All the same, um, we plug on when the market's here. We're here. Everybody got to rest tomorrow though. So again, I see some people filter in, filter out. I never know how many people are really here or not. But for anybody that's coming in and out, it's a live open forum. What I mean by that is I like it when you guys ask the questions. You want something demonstrated. You want to go over something. You want to talk about something. How does something work? How do we set something up? I prefer the content to be driven by your questions and around the education of the platform. I'm happy to look at some charts. I always disclaimer, I'm no chart expert. I'm no CMT. I could look at a chart and give you my 2 cents on it. I'm never going to tell you what's a buy level, a sell level, or anything like that. I just talk about some support and some resistance that I may see, how it may correlate with some different moving averages, some things like that. So, again, fire away the questions. But let's see, we're 3 minutes in, so I'll start to dive around here a little bit. A few things that I'm looking at, some different stuff that's going on as far as my trading and scanning is going. So let's see, let's start here. Yeah, you're very welcome, Timothy. We try to be on that as much as we can. A lot of emails come in. We have different work hours, some of us. So, but we try to get right on it. When we have the answer right away, you're going to get it right away. And if it takes us a moment, maybe there's some research we got to do, or we have to coordinate with another teammate. That's where some delays might happen. But we always try to get right to you. We're also trying to make ourselves available here through these Q&As. There's the noon Q&A here, and also me doing this now started, I guess, about 2 months ago now. Give you guys as much live education as possible for you, whether you're kicking the tires and you're thinking about subscribing, or you're already subscribed and you're looking to get the most out of the platform. So, like I said, it's open forum. Anybody with questions, please fire away with those. So, but I dive around a couple of things here. So I have my liked list. For those that aren't aware, we have a function called my liked. What you can do is you can heart. Oops. I need a big old look like that. There we go. So we have this heart in the corner of the charts here. And if you click that heart, it'll put that symbol onto a my liked list. Okay. And that's a way that I keep track of stocks, and I put them on a top list. And what I've done with this top list, I see your question. I'm going to get right to you, Timothy, on that. What I've done with this top list, if you right click and we look at configure here for the top list, okay, I have no filters in this whatsoever. All right. There's nothing going on. I'm not filtering. What I'm doing here is I have this list set under symbols list tab, only the following list. We got the drop down menu, only the following list, and my liked personal. And so this is just going to populate the stocks from what I've clicked the heart on the chart from, and track those stocks. And I track those stocks for various reasons. Some I have immediate interest in, some I've been tracking for a long time for different reasons. And so I like to curate my data. I don't want to look at all 8,000 stocks that are, bouncing around every day. I want to look at the stocks that interest me, that are part of my plan. and that's what I've done. So I'll circle back to that in a moment. But Timothy is asking about a swing channel. So we do on the app. I'm not sure. Some things on the app aren't on the web version because of server limitations. But if we were to look at a channel bar, so I've got a channel bar here. We have this channel. Where is it? Swing Ideas channel. Let me see if I can bring that up as a docked channel for you. I'll go over a few things with that, and then I'll go over a few things that I personally think about swing trading. Let's get a docked channel bar here. Sorry, I'm on another screen to make sure I can get this. All right, yeah. So just want to bring this over. What I want to do is bring over another docked layout, so not to lose my regular layout on you all here. All right, so this is a docked channel bar. All right, you have to be on at least the latest production version to do this 5.5.32. If you're on the 5.5 versions, I just highly recommend always be on our beta. There should never be anything in the beta that's dangerous for you, and beta is always going to have our latest stuff. So 5.5.45 is our latest beta. You find that on our download page. Scroll all the way down, and I recommend there's notes about every build. Please read the notes. We can circle to that later, but here we go. Swing Ideas. We click that. All right. I was going to populate a layout. I think Andy had a pretty big hand in creating this layout. Uh-oh. I might not be able to load this because of that server that's down. And we might be stuck on my layout for the moment here. Let me message, see what's going on. Sorry, here's some messaging coming in. All right, looks like we're having some technical difficulties with that goes. All right, so, well, Timothy, when this decides to load, there's some different scans that are in here with various ideas, using a lot of different position and range filters and some more fundamental stuff that's going on here as far as swing trading goes. Okay, I can't get that loaded, unfortunately, right now. There goes charts and single stock windows. But in there's definitely some swing ideas. But whenever we talk about swing ideas, something I like to note is that anything could be a swing idea. But what's your time frame? What's your trading plan? What's your stop? How do you stop? How do you share size? So I think that when people talk about different types of trading, it comes down to data interpretations. I think that that is the most important thing for people to recognize. I'm just trying to get a few charts over here from IB so we can have something to go along with here. See if I can find some charts from IB to bring over. New chart. All right, here we go. There's a chart. There's a 5-minute chart for us. All right, so at least we've got something to go off of here. I want to widen this out. There we go. Charts are coming back up. Did they work their magic? Well, we'll leave this here for a minute here. So with my external linking function, this will populate what I needed to populate. Looks like we're back and running. So that's my big thing with swing trading is, how does it fit into your swing trading plan? I always pound the table on, you have the greatest scanner in the world, but if you don't have a trading plan, what are you going to do with that scanner? And I like to give my own firsthand example. My first 6 months of trading is a total wash. All right. And then my next 18 months of trading, I had a lot of trades where I was up, I was doing very small share sizes, but I was up, let's say, 30, 40, 50, $60 on a trade. And I would let probably 8 out of 10 of those go negative. They wouldn't come back before it would hit my stop loss. And that was the end. I simply didn't know how to manage my winners. That's all there was to it. I had to come up with a way to figure out, and it's hard because you always hear the terms, cut your losers short, let your winners run, and so on and so forth. So it's hard, and I started writing and journaling all those things down. So this is more trader talk than trade ideas talk. But I journaled, I wrote stuff down, what I got in, why I got in, what time I took it, the how many shares I took, what time of day it was. Journaled everything for a long time, and I started to add up. Why did a trade work? Why didn't it work? And it was the same sin for me over and over again. 9 out of 10 times, or 8 out of 10 times, it was I just couldn't manage the winners. So as much time as you're going to spend learning the platform and scanning and all that, you got to spend as much time putting together your own personal trading plan. I'm going to get rid of that chart for now. Um, let's see if I can't bring over what I was trying to show you originally here. And you get okay, looks like everything is back to normal now. I don't know if that was us or if it was someone else. We look like we are loading everything. All right, so here's that swing channel. All right, I'm gonna bring that over. Let me just resize it for you here. And there's definitely some good stuff in here. Sorry, I'm just gonna be a little slow because now I'm running multiple layouts and streaming software and God knows what else I have going on here. All right, so this is the swing channel here. All right, and we can come into any one of these and see how it may or may not work into what we are trying to do. And I see other questions coming in between Timothy and Robert, and I'm going to jump right on those. But let me just dive into a couple of these right here. And we can come in here in the window specific filter, and we can see what this scan is looking for, what it's doing when it was created. All right, so we've got price ranges here. We've got daily RSI, and we've got a change over the past 5 days, and these maximum minimum values, distance from your 50 SMA, a position in 20-day range. And so you can see here that some of these are longer term versus intraday filters that we're looking at and trying to get a bigger picture of a stock, where it is and where it's possibly going, of course. No guarantees in anything in life. And so that's kind of the concept behind the scans that are in this layout. Now, maybe you don't like the price range of 20 to 80, 84.99. Maybe you want to see stocks that are $50 to $300. You could change that. You could start to make this your own, and then you could save it as your own layout. The channels that are here on the bar are static, so you can't you can't save this channel just like this here, but you could save it to your cloud, and then you'll have that saved as your own kind of personal swing trading channel. And you can go through each one of these and right click and take a look. This one, squeeze break, I believe is going to have something to do with short float and short growth. So there's your short float. All right. Same thing. We can come in here and look at these same things. So there's a much bigger price range that are here. This EPS is an EPS hack to keep out our ETFs. We're using some daily Bollinger Bands on this, a short float. We want to see stocks that trade at least 250,000 shares today. And how far we off 30% off a 52-week high here. So, a few different things that are going on here in this one, but the same idea is that we're looking at a longer term range on these stocks with what we're trying to do here. And so I would just suggest to you, going through those, taking a look. And one other one, Andy just, he kills it from the scan. I've never been able to get the handle of the scan like he does, but this revenue growth fishing here, nothing fancy about it, but you're looking at stuff that is, it's down on a 3-month range, okay, but it's up in the last 10 days. So you're looking at stuff that's kind of beaten down, but looking to turn around right now, doing solid volume over 3 months, and has some solid revenue growth. So we got some fundamentals to go with this same kind of idea here. And that's what Andy's looking for in it. And I got to tell you, Andy does well with the scan. He really does. Maybe I should pay more attention to it and work it a little harder. But so you're combining a little bit of fundamentals with the technical analysis, trying to get those longer term ideas. All right. So hopefully that's point you in some good directions for some stuff to look at there, Timothy. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this here. All right. Let me circle on these here. All right, And so we're good. For instance, I'm looking swing del, enter P, enter. That's that's a good way, Timothy, where you're talking about their satisfying both demons. That's where I first started on being able to manage my trades a little better. Was all right. I'm up. Let's lock in $20. And I'm talking about early on in trading for me. I didn't have a lot of money to lose, so getting a $30 and $40 win was a big deal to me. Taking real small share sizes. What a small win to anybody is it's relative to who they are and where they are in life financially. And especially I didn't have a lot to risk. That's all there was to it. So I had to be very, very conservative on the share size and things like that. And that's the way it goes. So Robert, does traders have a journal? What do you use that for? That? Robert, I just journaled on my own. I know there's some journaling software out there. I think some of it's free, as a matter of fact. I forget. Let me see here. I think Sean knows something. Message Sean here. All right, let me see if I can get a free one of those. That's online for you there, Robert. Message Sean, see if he's around. I just did it the old-fashioned way. I like hard out written things. I like seeing it in my handwriting. Maybe my own interpretation of things that are in like that. So that's how I did it. I bought a notebook and then I started writing in it. And then I started to make tea tables, good and bad on each, trade this was good, trade that was bad, to try to get common denominators and what was happening in winners and what was happening in losers. All right, not Sean, maybe Chris McKay that I work with. Okay, here's something from Michael Noss. You can try this as a trader's journal. He said he's been playing with it, but it's not free. All right. I believe maybe Chris McKay that I work with was the one that had something else. He's away for the holidays, so don't let me forget that, Robert, and we'll see if we can get you something else. I see some typing coming in, so maybe something else is going to come in trader journal wise. Yeah, and that's it, Timothy. And look, hindsight trading is always my favorite to talk about. But if I could have back half, half of what those winners were profits at towards the top, half from the top on all those. I mean, it'd be in a different position in life, like a lot of people probably would be. But again, it's hindsight trading. But hopefully, maybe something that I've done or that I discuss here helps someone moving forward, and that's part of the reasons why I've done taken on doing this live Q&A. So. So it's a short and skinny there. Then one other thing I'd like to share here with you, Timothy, for anybody here, I'm more of a swing scalper. I've really kind of transformed that in the last couple of years. I have a real basic scan. I talk about it a lot. I share it a lot. Maybe I'm a one note pony on this one, but not a lot coming through it today. But I scan this after hours always, and I find a lot of my swing trade ideas from it. And I'm going to bring it up to just quickly go over it here. I don't want to kill anybody that's seen it 1,000 times and bore them to death, but I'm going to share it also. So I'm going to get a cloud link. We can share scans between all of us here. So, anything that we have, we're always happy to share. So that's the scan here that we're going to look at. That's a cloud link to that. So you can copy that and load that to the cloud and save it, whatever you like. If we right click real fast, real simple scan. I'm looking at stocks between $4 and $30. Relative volume is 1. For those that don't know, our relative volume is a 10-day averaged ratio. It's weighted heavier at the open and close. It only works in live market hours. So if you want something that's similar to relative volume that does not work, that works in pre-market and post-market, use our volume percent today. It's almost the same metrics, only it's more evenly weighted how it does it. And the relative volume, I won't say it's a predictor, but it's saying, hey, at this rate, this is where we're headed for the day on volume. Where the volume today percent is, this is where we are right now at this point in the day. Then I'm looking at position and range 20 days. I want to see it's 75% above the 20-day range, and I want to see that 75% above the low of today's range as well. I want to see stocks closing strong on this, right? And that's it. There's no other tricks, no other trades to this. I like cup and handle patterns and horseshoe up patterns, and I find a lot of those with this. I also find stuff that's ridiculous extended. This will probably be one. Yeah, so this is, ridiculous extended. But I also like to just see these two. I find it entertaining. So I look at it all. I could put caps on some of these filters so I don't see stocks like this coming through if I wanted to. But this is something that, maybe this interests me a little bit here. So this might be something I take a look at. So why am I interested? Here's why I'm interested. All right, 44 million in the float, give or take. 2.2 mil shares traded today, and that's a touch over its 10-day average. So we know we got a nice liquid stock here. All right. We had this big run up and do this, and now we faded. All right, and we're revision to the mean. All right. That level kind of coincides with that level there. All right. So maybe we got some kind of wedge pattern forming. And we put in a nice base here. So if we were to, start to curl up, it starts to give me this pattern from that high right here. All right. So now that's the good that I happen to like about this one. And I'm going to actually heart this and put it on my like list. So boom, that's going to be something I watch moving forward. I may trade it. I may not trade it. I don't know. So the things I don't like, I don't really like stocks under $8 anymore. And I'm even leaning away from stocks under $10 now. Stocks have a personality on their price. And the lower you go, the more difficult that personality is to work with sometimes. And especially when, the float, I wouldn't call that a low float, but it's lower end of floats anyways. All right. So that's something that I'm not crazy about. Number one. Number two, I got to wonder, are there bag holders up here with foxhole prayer saying, please God, let that price get anywhere up towards this range so I can dump these shares on, people when it gets up here. So, is there a lot of supply up here to meet the demand coming here? I don't know. There's no way to really know that. And the last thing that I'm not crazy about with this, just looking at the daily chart, and I'd like to be as unbiased as possible. I'm looking at these lower highs. All right, off that. That's not quite what I wanted to do. Zoom. Okay, so boom, we put in this high. All right, and now there's a lower high, and 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 a lower high. Is this going to be a lower high, or is this a trend change? I don't know, but I'm not going to jump right on it. I have no reason to jump right on it. But let's say that we hold this $5 level for a day or two, and it gives me an entry chance. I might look at that and think maybe some room up to here. And on a percentage basis, where are we at for that price level? All right, it's in the 630s or so. That might be something interesting to me on a percentage basis. Looking that we've got a nice established base down here now. All right. Not a bad established base to have down there. So not a bad risk to reward. Somewhere around, let's say a $4 stop, give or take, and looking at maybe a 630 target ish, give or take. Now, I'm not saying it gets to any one of those. And I certainly, if let's say I took whatever amount of shares because it was holding over 5 and I liked the price action that was going on in the volume, and let's say we get up to 560, you better believe I'm going to sell some of that. I'm not hanging around up here, especially given the story that I tell at the beginning of this Q&A today, that I've let a lot of winners turn to losers. So you better believe I'll be selling some on the way up. But just my 2 cents on how I work this evening scanner into my trading. Also knowing that I've locked in a few dollars, it makes me a little more comfortable. I could bump my stop up maybe, and now I've cushioned myself to try to ride it for a possible couple of days. Another thing to look at. This is a 50 SMA. We pop above that. Does that give it a little room? Is this 20 SMA going to cross on that? And is that going to help it move the price action up? I don't know, but those are things that I'm thinking about as I'm looking at that chart. So, all right. Hopefully that makes sense and gives you a little insight into what I'm looking at as far as swing trading with the scan. one example. Where you see like cup and handles, did check out Zim, wide cup, been crazy. So let's take a look at Zim, see what that looks like. So a very nice cup and handle, and a cup and handle within a cup and handle. All right, and what do I mean by that? Cup, handle, handle. There's a cup and a handle, and you can call this a smaller cup with a handle. Nice pull back to the mean here. That might be a nice entry point here, actually. Give us a shot back at that 60 level. Again, does it get to do any of these things? Nobody can predict that. But, we're doing technical analysis here, and we're trying to stack the chips in our favor. And not bad at all. I'll also note Holly's been in love with this stock by, long, short, long, long, long. So, you never know what's under the exact hood of what she's seeing there. But that was a nice couple day hold off that from her. And I do always like to match. It always makes me feel very good when there's something I'm in and Holly all of a sudden ends up in it too. There's very few things that make me feel better than that as a trader. So I don't know. Let's take a dive down here. Look at some of these. So, all right, donut. I don't know. Trend change possibly happening here. It's a newer issue. I'm always kind of on newer issues. Not enough data for me, but I mean, we could say, banged on this base a bunch, and now we could say, all right, do we have higher highs and higher lows? So, have we established a low, and that's a lower high? Higher low and a higher low. Well, could be. You can make that case for that. Definitely gonna have trouble right here. I'll tell you that right now. We'll see. But not giving me the cup and handle that I'm looking for out of this. And, I don't always get an idea every day from this. I never really know what I'm going to find from this. And, there's days I just sit around and I don't trade because there's just nothing for me to trade. And I don't generally like going outside of my comfort zone. I got a plan. I stick to it for the most part. I have done a little more day trading again recently. Again, I see people file in, file out, numbers dwindling. Again, maybe people are ready headed for Thanksgiving, events and such. But it's a live Q&A. So people have questions, ask them, pop in anytime with a question. Don't feel always, answering other people's questions. I won't ask for now. I will circle back to everybody's questions at some point. If I don't have the answer, I'll say I don't have the answer. I will not ignore your question. I'm glad you like that perfect circle. I know you said it a few times. I like hearing that, especially I also like the fact that it's a simple scan that people find value in. There's a lot of complicated stuff we can do. There's value in that. But also, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, as Leonardo da Vinci once said. And I believe that rings true through all of history at this point. What other scans do I like running during the evening? So I have, once in a while, if this is really dried up on me, I will go through, where is it? Turbo Family Up Alerts. So load from cloud, just going from Jamie. So first I'll just share this right in here before, in case you don't have it. It's also in the Trader's Vault. This is a very oldie, but a very goodie. It's one of the first scans I traded off of. Such a Turbo Family Up. Okay, and it's looking at stocks making new all-time highs with some different volume metrics involved. And then it's a multi-window. What do I mean by multi-window? It means it has more than one alert window placed into this here. Let me get properties. Let's get rid of small borders. All right, so we can see that M indicates it's a multi-window. Strategies. Okay, so what are we looking at here in strategies? All right, so we have min, 4 life, 2 to 4, sub 2, and this is just basically talking about the market cap in each of these strategies. That's the only thing that's different. So I can come to one configure and give you the short and skinny of this entire window here. If we come to window specific filters, all right, there's an EPS hack in here to keep out the ETFs, distance inside market filter to keep out bad ticks. All right, then we're looking at market cap. So this has got to look at stuff that's over a minimum of 4 billion and one market cap, not shares. Minimum of 4 billion, one market cap. Position in its lifetime range, 100. It's got to be right at its lifetime range, and it's got to be doing 3 times its normal 1 minute volume, and that measurement is taken over a 10-day average. So we look back 10 days, and we say, all right, what is the average volume 1 minute time frame, not 1 minute candles, 1 minute time frame over the last 10 days. And this filter will work pre and post market along with regular market hours. And so 300 means it's doing 3 times that normal volume. And I like things that are breaking out. I haven't traded all-time highs great, but I've had some decent success in there. And so once in a while, I will run the history on this window when I can't find anything in my evening scanner. And I'll take a look at what it looks like and find myself some interesting stocks. The only issue that I ever have with this scan is some of the price ranges on it, because I do like my price range. But look, RIVE. Let's see. Let's take a look at what we're doing here today. So this would have been coming through back here, all right, as a matter of fact, because we're at all-time highs. So we've been making all-time highs for a long time. This is a great looking chart. Only issue with this chart, volume sucks. 18,000. But returned a great chart. So for someone that doesn't care about volume, that, all right? And that was alerting an all-time high back here. And that was alerting an all-time high here, and an all-time high here, and an all-time high here, and an all-time high here. Now it's doing the same thing here. So, that's what we're looking for. And what's so appealing about all-time highs? Well, I don't want to buy the top. Well, also, do you want to buy something with a bunch of resistance above it? I don't. Getting the right kind of pullback into a mean, into an average, into a moving average, into a pivot line, that's great. All right. What if you're buying that small pullback into, just out of all-time highs, and it really looks like it's setting up to make some more all-time highs? That's really great when you don't have any chart resistance above you or any significant chart resistance above you. So that's the short and skinny of that. Sorry, I see. Yes, CLL. I know we were back and forth. Chris followed. You're checking the website. Finally came back and made sure everything's proper case, but it still won't let me sign in. Are you saying sign in? Hold on. Let me do a couple of things here first. Okay, so you signed the agreements. You're all set to go. What you need to do now is first, are you trying to log into the web version, or you're going into the web version? Okay, so there might be a domain issue on the web still. Hold on, sorry, there's all this chatter that's coming in, 1,000 messages coming in about all this. So, all right, what I want you to do, CLL, is close everything out web page wise. If you have a Windows machine, you should download the app before anything else, because the app is much better. I won't say much better. The app is better than the web version. There's just a few things in the web version missing compared to the app. So, to some people, it's a big deal. To some, it's not. But you got to make sure here when you're logging in, this login here, all right, this is case sensitive too. All right. So I discussed in that email that specific letter that's case sensitive that's tripping you up. But you should be able to get it right here. Erase everything, redo it, and put it in. I am assured that we are up and running right now. I'm assured we're up and running right now for everybody. If not, I will make a few minutes time after the session, make sure I get you logged in here, CLL. But double check here that one specific letter that I discussed with you in the email, that you're good there, and erase anything that's there, password and username, and I will get you logged in before I leave my desk today. I 100% promise. But you should be good to go. Just make sure that case sensitive. I know it's a pain in the neck. Believe me, it got me however many years ago that I had a round and round with a few people here where I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it for some reason. I don't know what I was doing wrong at the time. Okay, so there you figure out what a good volume is when looking at a stock. Let me know if you get in though. Now you should be able to get in. And make sure to download our latest beta too. If you're on our download page, in the sound section, no option for human voice. Not on the web. That's one of the things that's missing from the web. The sound alerts are passed through Windows. So if you're not on a Windows machine, you don't have that pathing. The web doesn't have that. The web servers don't have that for us to pass along. Just the dings and bells. You got to be on the app for the voice. And it's not, everybody thinks it's Holly's voice. It's not Holly's voice. It's Windows voice, actually. It's a default of Windows 10. Um, yeah, you're very welcome, Courtney. So let me know, CCCL, if you get in. You should be able to get in. I am 100% assured, and and it's been being tested. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to catch up on. There's a lot of chatter coming in about what happened and whether it was us or it was something local, where the server farm is in California. I'll have to catch that later. Um, so back to this. So you asked about volume. Again, everything is relative and subjective to a person. So for me, for example, in my evening scan, I have a minimum 750,000 shares because I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade something that's only trading 20, 30,000 shares a day. It doesn't work for me quite personally. Um, but if something's trading, I don't know, 250, 300,000 shares on a day, that'll get me in. That's okay for me. But on the my evening scan, the reason why I put the 750 is because I figure if it traded 750,000 shares today, even if the volume's decreasing, I should be up above 250,000 shares for the next couple of days so that there's some movement in that stock. I don't want to see something that's just going to completely fall off the map tomorrow or the next day. While it can happen, I'd like to avoid that. So that's why I use that as a metric for myself. But I don't use intraday volume metrics. I'm not using 1 minute volume on these scans or anything like that. And for example, on the relative volume, it's relative. Right in the name. Okay, so look, this is doing almost 3 times its normal volume today, and only traded 18,500 shares today. So you know, doing almost 3 times its normal volume, and that's all traded. Now let's take a look at something like Apple. Apple traded. Oh, that's a horrible 666 on that, but whatever. Anyways, Apple traded, just over 66 million, almost 67 million shares traded today, and it just did right about its normal average for trading. It's 66 million shares. So again, it's relative to what you're doing. So relative volume filters are great, but they've got to be paired in a way that works for what you're trying to see. Whether that is on a 1 minute scale of volume, a 5 minute, 15 minute, because we have all these different things. We come into the configure here. This is a top list. We come to we come to search. We can look at volume. All right, and we got a lot of volume metrics here. Do we have everything? No. But if you can't make something work out of this, I'm sorry. That's all I can say is I'm sorry. So, there's your relative volume that we're discussing, your volume shares today. This is volume percent today. So if you want, for example, you're scanning in the pre-market and you're like, oh, relative volume doesn't work in the pre-market. This is nonsense. Well, okay, use this instead. All right. It doesn't work exactly the same as the relative volume, but it takes the same 10-day look back time. All right. And it's a percent instead of a ratio. It's just weighted evenly. And relative volume essentially saying is, all right, and if you look at a relative volume on a stock at 10 o'clock and it says 5, that means it's now traded 5 times what it normally would on a ratio to this point over the last 10 days. And if it were to keep up this rate, that's what it'll keep doing. If the volume slows down, the relative volume is going to tick down its ratio throughout the day. It's going to continuously update. Where volume percent today is going to say it's traded 250 times its normal volume today. Okay, well, you can't undo what it's already did. So this is boom, timestamp to it. This is where we're at in the day. There's no projection on it. There's no, this is where we are right now, not necessarily where we're headed. Where I won't say the relative volume is a predictor, but it could be a predictor. We can almost kind of consider a prediction in that sense. Hopefully I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense, please somebody tell me in that questions panel, or if there's something else you want to ask about it. I don't code. I didn't write the codes to any of these things. In fact, I don't even have the math and the formulas out right in front of me. But I understand some of the underneath of the hood of some of these from questions I've had to answer and questions I've asked myself in the past. So hopefully, that kind of helps you, Timothy, a little bit as far as what volume means. Now, I'll say this, things that I've seen in scans that are very, very popular. I see a lot of times in these momentum scans that not just traders within trade ideas have used, but maybe I don't know. Some of these other big names that are out there, whoever's out there that have done in their momentum scans, 1 minute volume numbers that are always seem to be popular in those scans that I found are, for example, 750 minimum on the 1 minute volume, 1,000, 1,200. Those are like some really popular values. And what do I mean by that? Again, so if we took, sorry, 1 minute volume here. So on a top list of 1 minute volumes of custom. So if you don't have that, email us info@trade-ideas.com. We'll get it to you. On an alert window, the 1 minute volumes there automatically. The reasons it's not there on a top list is top list update every 30 seconds versus time stamped alert on the alert windows. But the code's there. We can put it real in 1, 2, 3. So we add that filter. What do I mean by 750 on that for the 1 minute volume? This is what I mean. So we'd be seeing stocks doing this here. It's going to give me a histogram, not a show me. But all right, so we'd be seeing stocks. And what does 750 mean as a value here? It means it's doing 7.5 times its normal 1 minute volume over a 10-day average. No, you don't have to uninstall and reinstall. When I can't do it right now, but when this wraps up here, I want you to come to our homepage. All right, on our homepage, CLL, there's an orange questions and answers bubble. All right, you're going to use that orange questions and answers bubble to start a live support chat, and you're going to come to that live support chat, and you're going to find me there. You're going to say, "Hey, I'm here for Chris V to help with the login issue." You can try to get to that chat now. And see if someone else is there. I'm not sure who's around right now. And what do I mean by that? This is what I mean. Let me bring this over real quick. If you're on whether it's our education page or any other homepage, anytime someone needs to get at us, our live chat's open 9 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time. You come to questions and answers. Click questions and answers. All right. You're going to see answer and ask at the top. Click ask. Go to chat. All right. You're going to type your message. I need help logging in, whatever it is, okay? And then it's going to ask you for a valid email. You're going to put that email in, and then it's going to drop you into our chat system. And myself or someone else will always pick you up there while someone's around. You can attempt that now, CCL. There's not, being in this live stream, there's not much else I can do, but I can do it after the live stream ends. I can get you there too. So you either pick me or someone, wait to pick me and wait for me later, or someone else will get you there now. But going back to this 1 minute volume, so I'll say 750 to 1250 are really popular, I see, as far as momentum scanning goes. Take it back to what Jamie did here on this Turbo Family Up No Resistance. He put a 300 for a minimum, meaning it's 3 times its normal volume. So we're breaking all-time highs, and we're doing, we're doing 3 times what we're normally doing on 1 minute scale volume. So again, I know I do some rambling on here. I see people coming in, coming out. I never know what to make of when, all of a sudden, 3 people jump in and 10 people jump out as far as the stream goes. So hopefully this is informative, whether you are a subscriber or you're thinking about subscribing. And again, I always pound the table. This is an absolute open forum here. Please ask questions. I don't care what they are. Going to get to everything. And again, if I don't have the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't know, but I'm going to find an answer for you. How do I get the Turbo Family up? I shared a link a moment ago, but I'll go ahead and let me see. Is that link paste? I believe that's it right there. That's a link for it again. So I just shared that link there for you. What you do is, Courtney, are you familiar with how to use the cloud to share scans? Let me know. And typing a message here about something. Yeah, you're familiar. Okay, so I won't bore with the details of that. But for anybody that's wondering, we can share scans real easy via the cloud. So that's that. And also, that scan and a lot of other scans that are, Jamie, Steve, and Sean's scans that they really like. I think Rounded Bottoms is in there too, from Michael. I still yet to get a scan in there. I still haven't joined the family tight enough to get a scan in here, but you have to be a non-docked channel bar, and you're going to look for Trader's Vault right here. I can't open it right now because I'll lose my layout. But this Trader's Vault here has Turbo Family Up, a whole bunch of other scans that are in there that these guys use regularly. That's kind of their bread and butter scans for a lot of them. Let's try to scan for doji candles on the daily. Let's take a look. I know a lot. I memorize a lot, but let me take a look here. Now, we could probably create something using some position and range filters, because Steve has created what we call washout bounce 3-day tail. There's some really great scans for that, so I don't see why we couldn't do a doji. But let me just see if we have something outright as an alert. Scanning around. What do we got? All right, so there you go. 5-minute, 10-minute, 15 and 30-minute dojis. All right, 60-minute. So I don't see a daily doji. I always have time for anybody. I mean, other than when I have to run, to pick up the kid from school or something. Sorry, just scanning through to make sure I don't miss anything here. All right. So we have the dojis as an outright alert on those time frames. I would say scanning for doji. So let's see. We want to be position range on the day 50%. I don't think there'd be anything complicated. So let's do an exercise here. Let's bring over. So let me get rid of some of this other stuff. I just want to clean a few things out just because I have so much software open right now. I don't want to slow myself anymore. What's on history? So I was helping someone try to build a reversal scan earlier. All right, let's get rid of that. So let's come to, all right, we'll go to new. Let's go to topless window. All right, let's get rid of any values that are in here already. And again, I always do this little exercise here. When we start here, why don't I go to start from scratch? Because there's columns that are already pre-done here that I don't want to lose those columns and have to add every one of them again. So I just come to Windows specific filter, clean that out. What will be loaded in here is things you've either used recently or been popular through the cloud and things like that. So we're starting a blank top list here. All right, exchanges. We're looking at the major exchanges. We could always add pinks or OTCs or anything if we want to add those. We're looking at all symbols. It doesn't matter what we sort on, really. I'll go change from close, but it shouldn't matter for this exercise. We're going to come to search. Let's go for position and range. SIT. And let's go to position and range. Here, this one, position and range with the D, up and down arrows. We're going to add that filter. Now we got to give it values here. Right. And one of the ways that I always like to give values to, I guess, check my own work here is that show me function. And so we're going to type right out what we're looking for. And I'm going to go with a minimum of 45 and a maximum of 55. And this is going to tell me, show me stocks where the price is between 45% and 55% above the low of this range. Okay. And that's it. And let's see what this returns us here. And we're looking at the whole stock market other than stocks that just meet that specific criteria right here. We'll click OK. That's going to bring us to the summary tab. We can name it. All top list windows will default to be called volume leaders. Daily doji. Let's see what we return here. All right. Here we go. I'm going to organize that on a change from close. So that's a change from previous day's close. And let's look at some of these stocks and see what we got coming through here. All right. So it's not giving me what I want. How do we close off the bottom? Now we got to figure a range. All right, so we got one part of it. We're closing in the middle of it here. So sorry, racking my brain for a second on how I'm gonna make this a tail at the end here instead of the body of that candle. Let's see, maybe a change from open filter, but that's not going to do exactly what I want either. You hear a pouring sound. I'm drinking a tea here while I mull this one over here. And sorry, I'm just jumping in. Just following. I see Andy's helping CLL there. All right. Come on, Chris, think. I feel like this is an easy one, and I'm stumped on my brain. Daily Doji configure. One other thing real fast here. Symbols list, existing list. Daily candles. I think we might even scan for dojis like this. Yeah, daily doji. So we have a symbols list actually that scans and looks for these there. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Ansel. So I want to add that. I'm going to add that real fast, and I'm going to get rid of this filters real quick, but I want to also figure it out on my own. I know there's a way to do this. But so this is going to return us things with daily dojis. Let's take a look here. So this is looking back at yesterday, actually. So, all right. It's going to look at yesterday's stuff. Some dojis for us. And we could always add some metrics to this along the way here as well to weed out anything we don't want to see. So, all right, that's giving us some good yesterday daily dojis. All right. All right, now back to the original exercise here. Let's come back. Symbol list, all symbols. Get rid of that. Window specific filter. So position and range on the day. We got to be above. Shoot from open. Position range today. We know we got to be at least 45% above the low today's range. Yeah, sure. Lots of scans like that for breaking high of day breaks or low day breaks. So one that's a great one here from Andy, I'll give you. And this is looking at stuff on volume. And full disclosure, I stole part of my evening scan from this. I just removed volume metrics from it, but I used position and range filter from this. The idea of the 20-day range filter. So hold on, extreme, high, low, pro. So this has got stocks making new lows and new highs on the day with some major volume going on and breaking out of a 20-day range as well. I believe maybe a 20 and a 10-day range I think he's gotten there for filters. But that's that there. If you're just looking at for highs, this Extreme Master Blaster is a good one here that Andy did. And here's one that's very popular. I've never once opened the scan to look at it, but people request this a lot. It's called High Day Momentum Scanner or High Day Momo Scanner or something like that. It's another multi-window. So there's a few different ones for your viewing pleasure. All right, back to this doji thing. How am I getting it off the low of the day? Change from close. I'm going to rack my brain for a minute on this one here. got this position range. We know we want to be in this range. And while I have dead air time here, don't be afraid to throw other questions in here. Whoops. What did I do here? All symbols. All right, I just want to take a look at some of these and see if I can kind of back engineer. I want to make sure I got enough sample coming through here. So what I'm doing here is right now this is set so only 100 stocks can come through the list. I've set it so 500 stocks can come through because I'm sure there's a lot of stocks that meet the criteria of this list. This is going to be all things that reversed on the day for us. All topping tails. This is going to give us bottoming tails. I don't need warrants. No bottoming tails like I thought. All right, my trouble is finding those bottoming tails. I'm going to figure this out for you, though. I am sure we can get that. And so, trade-ideas.com. So, do me a favor for that doji, daily doji. Send an email to that info-trade-ideas.com. Whoop, I totally typed that wrong. That's all right. And say, looking for scanning daily dojis without a symbols list. And I will work on that overnight today, or in between cooking tomorrow. And I'm going to find something for you because I know I'm just having a brain fart on doing this really fast here. I know we can scan for daily dojis without that list. I'm sure we can, or get you things that are close to it for sure. So we got that there. Look at that, 429. So we're coming towards the end of my workday, technically speaking. All right, if you guys have questions, fire them away. And I always like to throw out there, I really appreciate the engagements in here. I appreciate the questions, the comments. I just think it's better when we're doing this all together. You're asking the questions, you're driving it. It's more relevant to you. Perhaps you have a question that someone else has the same question, and multiple people are getting answered at the same time, or someone asked a question that you thought, oh, I forgot I did have that question. I'll stick around a couple extra minutes here. What I'll do in my overtime is we could do a quick rundown of some sectors and the market overall, some thoughts on some charts. I haven't done this since last week. But if you have any other questions platform related, hit me with those and I'll circle back to them. So really fast on some stuff here. Checking a little skies falling, spies crashing. I don't see it, but there's all the bears that are out there and telling me that. Always disclaimer, I am neither a bear nor a bull. I look at charts. That's all that matters to me is the charts. I don't get involved in animal spirits. It doesn't make any sense to me. So excuse me, some more messages coming in. I don't get involved in any of that. But people just love to react on 1 or 2 days worth of data, and we get these couple of days here, and all of a sudden the sky's ending, and next thing you know we're right back almost at 470 on this. So um, as far as the market goes, I mean, I think it's so strong. There seems to be, outside of another pandemic happening, I don't know what's taking us down. We don't care about inflation. We don't care about shipping problems. We don't care about supply chains. Um, that just market doesn't care about any of these things. This was a nice little healthy pullback. It wasn't even a correction before marching right on. And I mean, we marched straight up, get some slight wobble here, and direction of least resistance seems to be that way as far as the overall market goes. I don't much care for looking at the SPY as much as I used to. You too, Timothy. My pleasure. Always have a great Thanksgiving. Whatever you're doing, enjoy some food, family, and friends. Instead of the SPY, I like to look at the RSP. It's the same set of stocks, those 500 stocks, only equally weighted versus the SPY being very tech heavy. And so, tech got smacked around the other day, and that's why the SPY got smacked around. And this didn't get smacked around as much. It just had some more orderly selling on these days. And here we are, holding support at 20 SMA. And, I talked about this the last week. I said it would be really nice for us to pull back in this 20 SMA, start to make a new march, new camp, new base camp to make that next march back up. And, my eye says it looks like it's doing that. That's the way I'm positioned at the moment as far as things that I'm trading goes. And that's how that's going. So there's your RSP. What's it? MDG, MGY. Trying to think here. No, not MGY. Excuse me. It's new index I kind of watch a lot more recently. MDY. There we go. Again, this is more. All right, perfect, CCL. Glad you got that sorted out. I saw I was trying to chime in on Andy and point with what we had worked at, so he didn't try to circle back on the same stuff. I'll probably do something. Obviously, I'm off tomorrow. No markets. I'll probably do something, around closing time, maybe a few minutes after on the markets on Friday. It's a half day Friday for the markets for anybody that doesn't know. But I'll probably try to get a few minutes in here because I know, people still want to do that. So, but back to MDY real fast here. This is what it's looking like in here. Very range bound for a very long time. We blasted out. We pulled back in these moving averages. I don't think it's unlikely that we start to move back up again. YouTube Perfect Circle, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Appreciate that. I appreciate you being in here every day, Perfect Circle. I really do appreciate that. So that, that's what we're looking at here. The path of least resistance, just, very orderly selling to me, very healthy, pullbacks. Hardly even call them a pullback at this point. That's that. The Qs, again, super tech heavy. Let's hit those really fast. Same thing here, Chicken Little, sky was falling here. We're crashing, fill up the bathtub with water because we're never going to make it out again. We blasted right up through again to all-time highs. We come back, tested this pivot line. I think that's a new, very significant level right here for pivots. Anybody that knows me knows pivot lines are not exact. They're an approximation. We get whoopsies just like that. All right. This is going to be a whoopsie to the other side, but we banged on it, couldn't get through it. We shot back up, we're banging on it for a couple of days, we can't get through it. Very likely to me. Is it possible we do that? Absolutely, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. That, barring, again, something black swan like coming through, and that's why they're black swans, because nobody saw it coming. They're bound to be right one of these days about the crash. Just, it wasn't today again. Last scanner question. Do you have one that is gap up and go or gap down and go? And happy Thanksgiving, first time here. And I will be back very informal. So just in case, Courtney, I do this every day, barring obviously holidays, 3:30 Eastern. Do I have something? No, but Barry does. Let me find you Barry's homepage and you can download all of his scans. Barry, copy. So anybody that's interested, Barry, that runs the Traders Room, has the stream 90% of the day. I take it at 3:30. That's Barry's homepage. Head there. All of his scans are there. He definitely has gap up and go, gap down and go, gap reversals too. I think he has. He's got a ton of scans that are in there. that he uses. He doesn't use every scan every day. He does things based on different market things that are going on, what's been working, what hasn't been working. So you'll definitely find something in there, Courtney, and anybody else. You'll find something in there scanning wise for you. But that's the short and skinny on the cues there. We're looking healthy on the cues. We come right down and touch that 20 SMA a couple of days, but could not get a close below that. This is an 8 EMA. That's your real momentum line as far as my trading goes, anyways. And we look like we're ready to set right back up on that 8 EMA again, heading back up again. Do we roll over? Possibly, we could. Will I be surprised? No. Do we head back up? I think so. Will I be surprised at that? No. Also, your diamonds. So your Dow 30. Real fast in here. So all the same thing. All these averages, all these things that I'm looking at, the ones that are heavier weighted have the more of the sell off and then a more of a sharp recovery versus that RSP and the MDY. Those ones, a little more orderly in the selling, a little less whippy actually, because they're evenly weighted. But same thing we're seeing here in this last one, IWM. As far as the indexes go, the major indexes go, these are your small caps, your Russell 2000. And this one shocked me a little bit. We spent a lot of time stuck in this range from the beginning of the year to right here. Where the scans take you, let me pull that over real fast. Barry's homepage. So this is what Barry's homepage looks like. Scroll down, list of Barry scans, click here. There's all your scans, and click the links for each one of these, and it's going to give you the cloud link. There's your cloud link on each scan. So, you need to press back, and again, come back here, click the scans, and every scan that you want. So, is earnings up, earnings down, bouncers, toppers, all these things like that. Everything that Barry looks at is right here. And like I said, he does not load every one of these every single day. But, we looking like we're in a downturn. He's going to be looking at the more down stuff, during those days. So sorry, let me dock that back over in its home. And the resolution's messing with me. There we go. All right. So back to the IWM. I just was a little surprised by this. We spent so much time range bound here, just taking forever for it to do anything. And then I discussed here several times, we looked like a trend change. We started making a lot of higher lows, all right, all through here. And then we blasted right up to all-time highs. And we come right back down here, and we've tagged the 50 SMA. I really thought that we would kind of hold this 20 SMA. That was my thinking. Wrong. It is what it is. I don't get paid for my opinion. I get paid to pay attention to charts, through my own trading. And it is what it is. But what my eye now kind of goes to is this here. I'm going to move this off from that all-time highs. And I start to look at this level here as possibly being the new support-ish area. And why do I look at it like that? We couldn't blast through. We couldn't blast through. We couldn't blast through. We couldn't blast through. But as I mentioned many times, pivot lines are not an exact, they're an approximation. So is that the aberration? Is that the approximation? And this is where we're going to now hold and make the new official base camp building on those all-time highs. Seems likely, seems possible. I won't say likely. Seems very possible, seems very reasonable as far as, my eye goes. Do we do it? I don't know. That's what I'm looking at the moment. All the same. We could also put this right back up here and we could say, all right, well, we talk about pivot lines aren't an approximation. Well, is this just a couple of day whoopsie before we bounce right back up? That could also be very, very true too. So a couple of ways to interpret this chart. Which one's right? I don't know. Maybe they're both right. So, Robert, what are those lines underneath your daily chart? Looks like step stairs. What do they represent? Yeah, so I talk about position 20-day range, and something that I always think that's healthy. So those are a low of 20-day, the low in the 20-day range. So if you were to come right-click the chart, and you come to indicators, and you look for multi-period low, that's the indicator that I'm using, and I put 20 period in here, and that's what I'm using, and that's what creates that for me. And I like it when stocks start making those steps up. It tells me strength, quite personally. We can see that here. We started making these steps up here, and that blast off into all-time highs. What's another great example of that? SPY chart's a great example of that. Look at this back here. Look at these steps, how clean they were for after this break here. So we had this here, and then we just started making a break on this. It was one little hiccup there, but we really just, making steps up as we're making all-time highs nonstop. I just happen to like it. It was very easy math, and Michael put it together and he pushed it out to the servers so we could all have it actually. Um, he just, he really did it as a favor for me, and anybody that wants it, it's there. I like clean charts. You know, I used to have a 200 SMA and a 20 SMA, and I had all these on my charts, and I left the 50. I left the 20, 50 SMA, the 20 SMA, and an 8 EMA. I've left them on there. It's still kind of messy to me, but it's there anyways. On my intraday chart, you see I'm real clean. 8 EMA, 20 SMA. That's it. They're not magic. I just happen to like them. That's all. Cool. Very good. Hopefully you find it useful, Robert. And like I said, it also coincides with that. My evening scan is a position in 20-day filter. So they, gives my eye where it's been in those 20-day periods, a real guide on the chart as well. Last couple things that I'm going to hit up here. I'll dive through a few sectors. Sorry, just some messages still coming in for me here. I'll dive through a few sectors here. So the first thing I like to do is I start at the top here, and B-Dry is going to be your shippers. All right. And the shippers just, beat up. I talked when I first started doing these, and I was going over some indexes. Is this shipping crisis bullish or bearish for the shippers? Didn't know. We had this run up, and then we had a real big run down. So I guess I don't know if the shipping crisis is over or not. I don't really care at this point. But it looks like it ended up being more bearish than anything else, especially those huge prices coming on and anything like that. So, they're struggling on their position and range for the year. This is where they opened the year. This is where they are right now. So they are up on the year, but not by a ton. We'll see what that means. We'll see what that means for the shippers. K-Web, your Chinese internet stocks. I just, people keep trying to tell me I should be bullish these stocks, and I keep telling them, look at the K-Web, and that's my only answer to it. Why do I say look at the K-Web? Okay, there's our all-time highs, and a lower high, 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 and now we're stuck here in this range, way down here. Can you make the argument that the base is in down here? Now that's a higher low and that's a higher low? No, you can't make that case because we took that out right there. So that's what I see right there. As far as the K-Web Chinese stocks, am I saying there's no Chinese stocks to trade? That's not what I'm saying. There's just nothing long-term that interests me whatsoever. I'll also, now Head and Shoulders apparently is probably one of the least reliable patterns, but if you like Head and Shoulders, kind of close to it right there. Not exact, but definitely close to that right there. So, and what does Head and Shoulders mean? There's a shoulder. Now those are high. That's a high shoulder here to that. But what does that mean? That means we're going that way. Does it really mean that? I don't know. I don't really care about Head and Shoulders patterns, but it just, it's there. I see it, or my eye kind of sees it. So I just kind of continue to say there's just nothing bullish about this chart. I mean, you have to believe at some point Chinese stocks make a comeback. I don't think today's that day. I'm going to skip TLT. That's your bonds. I always talk about the weed stocks. I don't get it. I don't understand. There's no investment there. There's a lot of trading tools as far as I'm concerned with weed stocks. But why do you ask me why I don't get it? Here's why. It's legalized, across Canada at this point, essentially. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, so forgive some of my ignorance in some of these statements. But the generalization is, I think you can even have Uber deliver you weed in like Toronto now or something like that. In the States, there's so many mixed signals about it. First off, the state wants you to sell as much pot as you can for so many states because they get the tax revenue for it. But if you sell too much, the federal government's going to come after you. No bank will take your money. So you got great. You sold $10 million worth of weed legally by the state standards this year. You have nowhere to put that money. Where are you going with that money? I don't know. The Cayman Islands. I'm making kind of a joke. My point being is, I just don't get it. What do you do with this? On top of that, everybody and their brother can grow pot, so awesome dispensaries, but I can grow it in my backyard. If I live in California, I can grow it all year long. If I live in southern states, I can grow it all year long. I don't, you know what I mean? There's nothing. I can make a little indoor setup in my closet or something. You know what I mean? So I just don't get pot stocks, and that's why they just continue to do this. And I had a whole bunch of people in my ear when this happened last week, and I said, okay, I still don't get it. So I'll maintain that. Energy. Anybody that knows me, I've been pretty bullish on energy since this past January, February. Almost got me for a day or two here. We started to make this curl. Your XOP is your exploration of energy and gas. I started to say, okay, well, I guess maybe, but then we just caught some support right here and made a nice bounce the last few days. So I remain bullish overall energy. We're way off any kind of all-time highs. Look, there's an energy transition going on, right, wrong, and different. I don't get into any of that stuff. I just look at these charts. This pullback, I think it's no happy accident that it happens. I know it's not a great line that I drew, but my point being is, looking at these levels, this is pre-COVID here, before we fell off the map here with COVID, and you get the big run up, and then all this stuff in here. We're pre-COVID levels on energy here, traditional energy, oil and gas plays. All right. And I kind of see it still building up. We need it to run the world still for now. There's no two ways about that. People got to heat their homes, and they're not heating them with solar panels and wind. And that's a fact. So anyways, that's what I look at as far as energy goes. IYR, that's going to be healthcare, right? I'm sorry, real estate. I get that always confused with the other. Real estate, your REITs, they're just strong. Really like this chart, as a matter of fact. Why do I like it? Chris, why do you like that chart? I like that. I like that. All right. Not necessarily cup and handle pattern, but we had a nice pullback and a base up, and now we're building a base and ready to maybe take another moonshot up here at those all-time highs on that. Land, they don't make any more of it, all that. SOX and SMH is your semiconductors. They're a freight train. Anybody that's ever been shorting those in the last several years, I'm assuming your account was blown up at some point. Just look at that. You want that's strong on the SOXX. You want to get even stronger here, in my opinion. The SMH. So semiconductors, will they not have their day in the sun or their month in the sun or whatever? Maybe someday, I don't know. But you finding the right semiconductor plays. Semiconductors just continue to look strong. Of course, look, you get a big run up like that, so don't go jumping on a semiconductor stock unless you have a real reason to do it. But just know that it's a strong sector. A revision to the mean. What do I mean by revision to the mean? Well, what's your mean? I don't know, but pull back into this 20 SMA. That would be really nice. Reset back up again, just like it's done in the past here, and in the past here, and in the past here, and in the past here. We can see it over and over and over and over and over again, like a broken record. Let's skip around a little bit here. And start to look at some weak stuff here from the year. Your emerging markets, they're just weak on the year, just like China, very similar. The winds have to change at some point. I just don't think this is that week. I don't think December will be their month. But again, we look like we're ready to maybe make a nice base in here and pull back up and just say couldn't do it. Come right back down again, and just continuous lower lows and lower highs all through this here. So I'm just not seeing it in emerging markets in general. Maybe there's a specific emerging market that looks good. I know a lot of stocks have been coming through Luxembourg. They got a lot going on, so maybe their index looks good. I don't know the ticker symbol for that offhand, but maybe that's something you want to look at. Your home builders, they continue to be strong. They had, not a great day today, I guess, relatively speaking. They just continue to look real strong. The home builders, your financials, strong as heck. Financials have been a leader for a long time. Not just the XLF, but the KBE, the KRE. Those are your regionals. Again, there's your cup and handle. Boom, boom. Very textbook stuff here. Another cup, maybe another handle. All right, boom, boom. Just very, very strong as far as I'm concerned on those. Let's wrap things up here with precious metals. I said maybe the winds are changing on silver last week. Nope. I still, silver's one that stumps me. It's used in electronics. It has everyday uses. Gold, I don't get it. I was told that it can be used in electronics. I didn't think it was, to be honest. They're great conductor metals. Uh, so I don't know if they're real world purposes, but as far as I'm concerned, I can't walk into a store and buy something with a gold. People, oh, it's a hedge against inflation. Okay, but please explain it to me how it's a hedge against inflation. Nobody's ever been able to explain it to me in a way that makes any logical sense to me whatsoever. So therefore, I just continue to look at metals and kind of ponder what the heck people do with them. Um, and if you can make money trading the precious metals, I'm not saying don't make money trading the precious metals. All I'm saying is I don't get it. That's it. This nonsense. And here, where it looked like, oh, silver's going to go, that was your Wall Street's bets crowd, and silver squeeze and all that stuff was happening, and obviously that did not happen whatsoever. They just look weak, just weak all through this, and they really, I said, anybody that knows me, I said, all right, maybe we have something kind of forming here. And I got ready. I started putting silver stocks on my list to watch, and now here's silver. So again, and I don't think gold is going to look any better whatsoever. Sorry, GLD, if I could type right. Gold Trust. I mean, the same thing, just even worse looking on gold. So I just, I don't know what to say for anybody that's a gold person out there. I don't mean to offend anybody. The charts tell me what the charts tell me, and anybody can tell me anything they want from history and anything else. I got a good amount of chart history that tells me that nobody's investing in gold, as far as I'm concerned. It just nothing. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, just these big long channels down. And it looks like it's setting up for another big long channel down as far as my eye goes. Again, I'm no CMT. I'm no chart technician. I don't, I have no service to sell you as far as talking about these charts. I don't care what anybody does. I have no position in gold and probably never will, to be honest. Like I said, I just don't get it. So, all right, that's my short and skinny. The last thing I always end with when I do a sector analysis rundown like that, I like to go in this position and range column here. And here's our position and range on the year on this. All right. You look at this. You tell me if that's a healthy market or not, as far as the quote unquote bulls go. And again, I'm not a bear or bull. I'm just saying that the path of least resistance looks pretty much up on all these sectors. And the few sectors that are down, let's look at the sectors that are down here. Okay. Weed, like I said, it just doesn't make sense to me. Jets, we're still having trouble traveling and passports and whatever's going to go on. And so they're going to suffer internationally, and it just seems to make sense why those charts look beat up. Here's a big section, your precious metals. Okay. Those are your silver miners, silver junior miners, your gold miners, gold junior miners, all negative. All these things that are here that are negative. Maybe someday that changes. I don't know. I don't think this month is going to be the month that changes it. Your solars, I think solar energy is a great thing. I think we should really utilize it if we can, and personal thoughts and things like that. But it does not look like the technology is realistically there. I can speak from where I live in Lower New York. I know lots of people that put up solar panels on their houses, and they're losing money because of it after 5 years. That's fact. That's not my opinion. These are people that I actually know. So I guess, solar we're not quite there. And that's why solar is where it is position and range on the year. The 20-year bond, that's, position and range on the year. People just aren't buying bonds for it. They're not believing it. They're believing in this. They're believing in these stocks. They're believing in real estate. They're believing in banks. All right. They're believing in the home builders. They are believing in semiconductors. All right. They are believing in energy. Oil and gas. All right. That's what we're believing in. Uranium is making a big play in the end of the year here. All right. That's where the belief is. That's where the money's going. All right. Anybody can get up there and tell you anything they want about anything. Where's the money going? The charts don't lie. They never lie. Anybody can get on TV and tell you they're buying whatever or they bought whatever. All right. Show me the charts. I don't care about their portfolio. Show me the charts. That's it for me. So I'll end my rant with all that. Hopefully, you all find that informative. You know, trade ideas, live Q&A. As I want to, want a little extra time for everybody going into the holiday tomorrow. If you have emails, you can send them here. If anybody has emails, questions, if you're kicking the tires, we do have a Thanksgiving Black Friday sale going on. Um, info at trade-ideas.com. If you guys got questions or whatever, try not to murder me with emails tomorrow on the holiday, but I will get to as many as I can and answer them. Steffi will be there answering some emails as well with me tomorrow. So if you got questions, you need something, you want a video on something, a section of the user's guide, you send an email there. We'll get to you eventually on the holiday tomorrow. That's what I got. My last spiel here will be that, this room, generally speaking, holidays exception, the stream on YouTube, Barry opens it 9 a.m. Eastern every single day. He runs 9 to 3 o'clock every day, gives up the stream for an hour at noon Eastern for a live Q&A similar to what I just did. He shuts down at 3, and then I open it back up at 3:30, Monday through Friday. I do this Monday through Friday, 3:30 Eastern, just like this. You get your questions answered here, you kick tires, some demonstrations, whatever it is that you want. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you want something demonstrated specifically with the scanners or anything like that, I'm gonna get it to you. And like I said, if I can't get it right away here on screen, sometimes I just have a brain fart. I got to rack my brain or hit the team for a little assistance. We'll get it for you one way or the other. All right. So hopefully you all found that informative. You have a wonderful and safe holiday tomorrow, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing. Enjoy yourself. Unplug for the markets for the day. It's good. It's healthy. All right. It's okay to do it. Sometimes it's hard, I know. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful rest of your evening, a wonderful tomorrow. And I will catch some of you back here. We'll see what time I start the stream on Friday, but it'll be an early stream. Will not be a 3:30 stream on Friday. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.